So the first question, I believe, was about the emergence of corruption in Malaysia, and what does the panel think specifically about how it arose in the first place. Who would like to address that question? It's a rather difficult question, I must say, but it's perhaps Nurul. Put your hand up.
No, I think it would be unfair for us to basically associate corruption with one particular figure in Malaysia as really biased. But I would urge you to read perhaps Barry Wayne's book, Malaysian Maverick. No, I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying that it's a very good explanation and a very fun research on how politics and corruption was gained prominence during a certain era in Malaysia. And you cannot put the blame solely on one person, but I think it is a good beginning to elucidate on how it gained traction, especially in the civil service, and in different projects that were allocated based on those deemed friendly to the ruling party. So it's really an important book, actually. I mean, not a tongue-in-cheek comment, but a lot of members of parliament refer to that book, because at the end of the day, you can make grandiose statements or allegations, but you have to also fall through with the facts and figures. What exactly are the projects that were awarded to certain individuals that permeated the culture of corruption in the country?
The question was actually, what is the need for an Islamic state, considering that many of the nations, some of the nations, shall we say, do not have a notion of a country that is determined or perhaps declared as a Christian country or a Buddhist country or an Islamic country. Why does, I suppose, presumably past, would pursue such an agenda? And secondly, the second part of the question, if I recall correctly, is when Pakatan comes to power, will the notion of race be abolished? Will everyone just be considered a Malaysian as opposed to a Malay, Chinese, or an Indian? To start off, perhaps we'll ask Dr. Hatta to kick us off.
Thank you. I think we have gone into how many hours of discussion, and it's the first word of Islamic State mentioned by one of you did not come from us. It is a big issue. You know, when we were alone, when we were fighting on ourselves, surely we'll have varied ideas, agendas, and that applies to all the parties. We had this experience of the Islamic agenda in Kelantan, in Terengganu. You know, everything was done through the democratic process. We put it forward, people choose, and also people reject. So that's what democracy is all about. Okay, if you don't like it, people reject. In Terengganu, we just had a 4-year stay and we are out. In Kelantan, we are already there 20 years. We have carried out the administration, and we do not brag about whether it is Islamic state or not. That's what it is. In Kedah, you know, we are in Pakatan Rakyat, headed by past Chief Minister. So these are the examples that we have. Whatever you want to call it, we are now fighting together on a common agenda. That's why we are not bragging about the Islamic State as a name. Yeah? People say that we are just, you know, trying to bluff the people by not talking about it. But in actual fact, we are really we have solid things to do in between us. We have to fight corruption. We have to what we call good democracy in this place. There's so much to do together that anything that might result in a disagreement, I think that would be not beneficial to the Pakatan and to the people of Malaysia. I think we must learn the bigger agenda for the country at the moment, and even then it's not really. I mean, we don't compel people to accept us. Okay, and as I've said, in Kelantan we have been there 20 years. Nothing is forced on people. They say you can still drink in Kelantan, but you cannot gamble. Everybody agreed in Kelantan that you cannot gamble. Okay, but there are people, they say, gamble in the dark. We do not know about that. But that is the current situation, and I think it's better for us to move forward on the current agenda that we have agreed together on December 19, 2009, which actually is the immediate, more important thing for us to do.
I also want to say this. I think on the conceptual level, we can talk. We can talk in the cows come home. What is the Khilafah? What is Islamic State? Even the Muslim scholars have different ideas of what Islamic State is. You know? What is important to remember is this. You know, to a Muslim, fundamental in their political struggle, and this you have to recognize, is that they use the word Islamic justice, Islamic welfare system, Islamic that. But it's actually no different from what you or I want. And what is important to remember is Pakatan has made a commitment that whatever we do it together, by consensus. And this is something very far-reaching. You will not get it in Barisan Nasional. Regardless of the theoretical aspect of the concept, you know, whatever we do it together. We all of us agree. That's number one. Number two, if Malaysians are so scared of Islamic State, how come they voted Barisan in 2004? Mahathir declared Malaysia Islamic State in 2002. How come? How come if you are so adverse to Islamic State, you voted Barisan again in 2008? Because their idea of Islamic State is persecuting people, telling lies, putting people in prison. That's the idea of Islamic State. So don't be worried about label. It's the substance of the struggle. And we have promised, even if we use Islamic justice, even if past people use Islamic justice, it's justice that we all know. And so I would like that we move on to, as Hatta has said, to the substantive policies that we want to do, and which we be judged by that. Of course, there will be some people who occasionally come up with some statements that to cater for their own crowd, their own to pander to certain groups. But the crux of the agreement in Pakatan, as you can see from our policy framework, we uphold the federal constitution. That's it clear. Whatever changes we want to make, it has to be by consensus. So I think there are enough guarantees of our commitment and our sincerity to provide justice for all, regardless of the label that Mahathir was to use it, or Najib was to use it. So I think we should not fall into that trap, and I think we should just move on and look at the fundamental policies that we have.
Sir, please, let's just have Nurul answer, please.
So I just want to mention about the whole Kalimah Allah controversy. I think we should basically congratulate PAS as well, because they took a very daring and very brave stance at the time after discussing with their leadership, internal leadership, and we came to a common policy, common stance on basically you cannot stop Christians from using Allah in Malaysia. And that is by far a huge agreement that not even cost us Malay votes. Mind you, Malay votes, the way it's being played in the different constituencies, especially in the Pakatan, sort of Malay majority constituencies. But I think it's a testament that PAS is very, very clear with its principles, and at the end of the day, it's not about politics per se. It's not about winning and trying to polarize society, but basically stating and sticking to what is right. And all three parties have no problems on that particular issue, unlike our friends in the end.
I've been referred to Pusat Islam as the enemy of Islam, so I think I should be given the right to say something about this Islamic state. Actually, I'm not opposed to Islamic laws, contrary to what the government is trying to say. I fully support Islamic laws, because once Pakatan takes over as a federal government, I have a list of 10,000 very corrupt Malaysians that like the heads to be chopped off. And we do it on Pakatan Merdeka on Friday, so that everyone can come and see what happens to corrupt people.
And of course, Pete speaks on behalf of civil society rather than the parties in terms of capital punishment, of course. Could we have another set of questions, please?